1. Keep me on 26 Terrace.
Welcome to another episode of Police Beat, the show that takes you inside the Gainesville Police Department. I'm Officer Ben Tobias, the spokesman for GPD, and I'll be your host for today's show. Joining me as co-host is one of GPD shift commanders, Lieutenant Sharna Sen. Now, it's actually with a great deal of sadness that I have to announce that this will be Lieutenant Sen's last episode as my full-time co-host. And we've been trying to figure out exactly how long you have been a co-host, and can you figure that out?
You know, I was thinking about it, and I think it's been around 10 years. I did it with Lieutenant Koenig, I think, to begin with, and that was when I was brand new, didn't really know if it would be something I'd enjoy, but it ended up being one of the best parts of my career. I love talking about all the good that GPD does because we do a lot of good out for the community, and that's what I really enjoy doing. But it's time for me to move on and focus on my duties as a shift commander, and we have talked way too much about me. Let's talk about alcohol.
Hey, fair enough. The fall semesters of UF and Santa Fe are well underway. There are thousands of new students roaming Gainesville and plenty of familiar faces out there as well. Gainesville is known for its vibrant bar and nightclub scene. We encourage folks to enjoy themselves, and we understand that alcohol does play a large part in that. All we want is for folks to be responsible adults. Make sure you know your limits and that you stick to them. In the upcoming segment, we visit the downtown and midtown areas and see some good and bad examples.
Alcohol levels are ever changing. As you all know, if they've been drinking, they could still be going up. Their body hasn't reached saturation yet, so their blood alcohol level can continue to rise after a while.
Throughout the fall and the spring, Midnight Shift has been putting on a variety of details to try to help curb or address the excessive drinking that goes on in the midtown and the downtown areas. There's a variety of details that we put together to basically help inform the patrons or the public, and also to partnership with the establishments and try to get their help and try to explain to them the issues that we're dealing with and how they can help us with those issues. And then also there's an enforcement leg to it to enforce the current laws that are on the books to ensure that everybody's in compliance. Our town has a higher percentage of people who go out and drink on a regular basis and drink to excess. All towns have the same issues, they're just in different percentages based on their population. So here in Gainesville, we have a community where we have a large number of people who are of college age or drinking age or just below the drinking age. And so their attitudes towards drinking and activities associated with drinking are less conservative than other communities or other age groups. So we have all of the other issues that go along with that because they then become victims of various crimes because of this activity. So as law enforcement, it's not just about enforcing the law, it's not just about getting the drunk driver or getting the person who's causing a disturbance or a fight because they're intoxicated. It's about protecting everyone so that they don't become victims of the various crimes. And if we can get ahead of that and educate them a little bit and help them not become victims because of that, that's what we strive to do. One of the education details we do is we call the PBT, or portable breath test details, where we send teams of officers out throughout the midtown and downtown areas and ask people to voluntarily submit to a breath test to see how intoxicated they are. And this data gives us a lot of indications as to where we need to go with our education program, as well as where the problems may be existing. We also partnership with Health Prevention and Wellness Coalition, which is a nonprofit organization aimed at curbing excessive drug use, excessive alcohol use, and overall wellness. And they are the ones who have donated materials like the trailer that has the television in it that we use for the public service announcements when we're doing these portable breath tests. And we have a questionnaire when we ask these folks to submit to a breath test that asks general questions. We don't ask for their names. It's totally voluntary. We don't want their names. We do ask, however, if they're under or over 21, and we ask what their drinking habits were prior to taking the test, and then we administer the test. And the test gives us an indication of what the average level of intoxication is for the patrons who are downtown and midtown, but whether they're already intoxicated before they come to the clubs, or are they sober when they come to the clubs and they get intoxicated as they're leaving the clubs. So where that level is, and what we found with the levels is most are over the legal limit on their way into the bars and the nightclubs before they even leave. So they have been drinking pretty decent amounts of alcohol prior to getting to the clubs, and if they continue to drink while they're there, they're that much more intoxicated when they leave, and which would explain why we find so many people afterwards, after they leave the bars and are trying to make their way home, passed out in bushes, vomiting, and not able to care for themselves. In the state of Florida, 0.05 is when the presumption of impairment begins. 0.08 is when it's illegal to drive. So anything over a 0.08 would be illegal to drive. But anything between a 0.05 and a 0.08 is when the law recognizes that it is presumed that you have a level of impairment. And how impaired you are and how your ability to drive is affected all depends on how much impairment indicators you show when you're asked to do a field sobriety exercise. It also gives us the opportunity as police officers to have positive interactions with the citizenry, and here we are telling you what your alcohol level is without arresting you. You're not under arrest, you're not under arrest for DUI, and we're telling you, look, you're a little intoxicated here, you need to be concerned. A lot of the safety tips that you should have when you go out is, one, have a designated driver, and a designated driver meaning someone who's not going to drink at all, someone who can be responsible for everyone else in their party. At the same time, if you have a lot of people who like to get pretty rowdy when they party, you may want to have more than one designated driver to round everybody up and make sure everybody gets home when they're going home. Just being together in a group is not enough when you're drinking, because everybody's senses are diminished and their decision-making abilities have been diminished. So not everybody's going to make the right decision, and being in a pack or in a group may just make all of you more vulnerable to become victims instead of one or two people. If you're going to go out to the clubs, make sure you have your faculties about you and you have people that are there that are going to look out for you. The best defense to this is education on the part of the patrons. When we do the PBT details, a lot of the patrons are surprised that their alcohol level is as high as it is. The activities that they've been engaged in the drinking activities, they seem to believe that, oh, I've only had a couple here and there, and I'm okay. And it's not necessarily about driving, it's about having all of our faculties with us when we go out.
We can't say it enough. We encourage you to enjoy yourselves, but please do so responsibly. After the break, we ride with one of GPD's DUI investigators to see what happens when you decide not to be responsible. Police Beat will be right back.
I mean, you don't think it's gonna happen.
I was just thinking, like, wow, I could have been killed.
If I can help it, you're not gonna like die when I'm driving.
So, you went out with a friend last night. Did you have fun? Do you remember? Did you have one drink too many? Or maybe two? Do you know? Did you think you were cool? Do you remember what happened? Who brought you home? What's being posted online today? Binge drinking. You're smarter than that. This message is brought to you by HIT and its sponsors.
Look,
Welcome back to Police Beat. As we saw in our first segment, alcohol use does have its downsides. One of the obvious problems is with DUIs. Before you head out for a night of drinking, make a plan on how you're going to get back home. Whether it's a taxi, the later Gator bus, or a designated driver, make the decision while you're sober. Once you've had a few drinks, you may think you're okay to get behind the wheel, but beware. If you do make that choice, you're likely to meet one of GPD's DUI investigators at their request. Let's look at how our officers are able to hunt and arrest drunk drivers.
Well, the DUI enforcement position is part of the traffic safety team, and what we're trying to do is be on the roads, and stop any safety violations before something bad happens. Just like the daytime, we look for speeding, people running red lights, stop signs, things that are going to put the community at risk. He was driving over 100. We're slowing down towards the intersection now. But one of the differences between the nighttime and daytime shifts are, nighttime are more predominant for DUI drivers. This position was created to detect and enforce DUI laws specifically due to the amount of traffic accidents, either serious bodily injury and fatalities that were occurring. And this is a way that we're addressing this issue, is to stop them before they're actually happening.
Can you be around 9656?
10-451. As a DUI officer, I'm available to any officer that needs my assistance. She made contact with him, he showed obvious signs of impairment, and he became aggressive, so she wound up placing him in handcuffs because he became a flight risk. Upon arrival, she requested that I come to the scene to evaluate him. So as we get there, he's very uncooperative with the investigation, did not want to perform it. People need to understand that just because you don't want to cooperate with the investigation does not mean that we are not going to enforce the law. There are other telltale signs of somebody other than the field sobriety exercises to show that they're impaired. One is their demeanor. This gentleman had an aggressive demeanor. He has a history of DUI driving. He's been arrested before, so he kind of knows what's going to happen. Just because he doesn't participate in any of the investigation does not mean that we cannot make a determination based on the level of their impairment. Subsequently, I made the determination that he was impaired and he wound up being arrested and he's going to go to jail. Refused the breath test. Now his license is automatically suspended for 1 year for refusing to take the breath test. And those are the consequences that he faced, even though he did not want to participate at all. When a person is, stopped with possible suspicion of DUI driving, they're going to be requested to perform field sobriety exercises. These are designed to let the officer have some interaction with the subject to see if they are actually impaired or if there's another reason of why the occurrence is, why their driving pattern was so bad, or whether it was a vehicle malfunction or something like that, to rule that out to see if either that was the issue or if they're an impaired driver. Depending on their performance of field sobriety exercises, if they perform poorly, they're going to be arrested for driving under the influence and requested to take a breath test. The next gentleman that we observed was coming westbound on University Ave. He was traveling a 30-mile-an-hour speed zone, and radar confirmed that he was traveling 46 in a 30 miles an hour speed zone. How's it going? You got your license, registration, insurance card? What's that?
I got my permit.
You got your permit? Okay. You got a licensed driver? I'm gonna step right up over here for him. Where you heading to?
My friend lost his ride from this party, and we're gonna pick him up.
Okay. Okay, have you had anything to drink this evening? You been smoking weed? You haven't?
Cigarette.
Definitely. He has very slow demeanor. His eyes are completely dilated and they're not responding to light at all. He just has that high look about him. So we're gonna run through some field sobriety exercises. When we stop someone, we have no idea where they're going to stop. Some people stop immediately, some people pull in parking lots, some people will just stop in the middle of the road, some people pull on the sidewalk. Are you any pills, prescriptions, medications of any kind? Nothing like that? You say you're not on any drugs or anything like that? Okay. Would you mind performing a few field sobriety exercises for me? And that'll be okay with you? Okay, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna stand right back here with this officer. I'm gonna pull my car up here, light up an area that we can perform those, okay? So if you'll stand over here, and we have to go into an investigation. We try to find a parking lot, a gas station, a sidewalk, somewhere out of the roadway, out of harm's way to perform the investigation. Plus, we don't want any extra things, for them to worry about. We want them to perform, to the best of their ability so we can get a proper evaluation of them. All right, first thing I'm gonna have you do, I'm gonna have you stand, see where that light is? I'm gonna have you stand right there. Put your feet in the light, and I want you to put them all together. See how mine are, heel to heel, side by side? Relax your arms at your sides, okay? All right, see that red light? What I want you to do is I want you to stare at this red light, okay? I want you to follow this red light with your eyes and your eyes only, okay? I don't want you to move your head at all during this exercise. You understand that? Okay, so go ahead and stare at the red light for me. This one. This gentleman not only had the signs of alcohol, but he had other signs of drugs in his system. And obviously you could see it in a person's eyes, but when he performed on field sobriety exercises, it was plainly obvious, that his normal faculties were impaired. He cannot mentally and physically do something. He couldn't even hold his balance while he was just standing there. So he performed poorly, wound up, being placed under arrest, and went to jail for the night. And he's going to have to answer that to the judge in the state attorney's office for the actions that he took. One thing that society has come to, this is a poly-drug use society nowadays. It's not just the going to the bar. We're not just looking for the alcoholics that are falling out of the car when we pull them over. There's prescription drugs, there's illicit drugs, there's narcotics, there's multiple drugs that people get impaired on. As this happens, we keep up with our training, which allows us to detect those signs of impairment. Think about what you're taking and what you're putting in your body before you get behind the wheel of a vehicle.
The men and women of the Gainesville Police Department take DUI extremely seriously. In 2007, our very own Lieutenant Corey Dahlem was tragically killed at the hands of a drunk driver. His death is a constant reminder that making the choice to drive drunk is one of the worst preventable choices you can make. Please be responsible. When Police Beat comes back, we'll introduce you to one of GPD's newest shift commanders, but you probably already know her. Find out more when Police Beat comes back.
Burglaries and robberies have become serious concerns in our city. This crime is referred to as a crime of opportunity because most criminals look for the path of least resistance. Protect yourself, don't become a target, lock your doors, and keep expensive items out of plain view.
For crime prevention information, go to GainesvillePD.org or call the Gainesville Police Department's Crime Prevention Office at 334-2479. Protect yourself, don't become a target.
The dumping of unwanted pesticides, paint products, or motor oil is not only irresponsible, it's very harmful to the environment. Alachua County residents can drop off these materials free of charge at the Household Hazardous Waste Collection Center. Hazardous liquids, poisons, and other harmful agents are treated with care by a trained staff that will unload your vehicle for you. The center also offers free of charge unwanted materials for use in your home. Take care of Alachua County's land and water supply by disposing of hazards properly. Call 334-0440.
Air 1, keep me on 26 Terrace.
GPD has seen a lot of change in our higher ranks over the past few months. One of those recent promotions was new Lieutenant Paris Owens, who is now one of the 2 evening shift commanders. Faithful Police Beat viewers will recall when Paris was one of the co-hosts many years ago. These days, she finds herself leading an entire shift of police officers in the town she grew up in. Let's ride along with Lieutenant Owens and learn a bit more about her leadership style.
CR 362 to Alpha 3. I'm Lieutenant Paris Owens with the Gainesville Police Department. I'm the evening shift commander. As a lieutenant, we're responsible for the entire shift when we're working at night. We're responsible for the officers. We have 3 different teams of officers with an a sergeant and a corporal most of the time. Team 1 consists of primarily the Northwest, Team 2 primarily the Northeast, and Team 3 the Southwest. We have what we call shift briefing. It's where we go in, we speak about what went on the night before, what things that we can improve upon. We do some training. We have the sergeants there who will sometimes train. We even have officers who are well versed in different areas, and they come in and they maybe come and say, you know, Lieutenant or Sarge, I'm interested in speaking to the shift about traffic stops, or I'm interested in speaking about setting perimeters. And we allow them to go and do their research and come in and train their fellow officers. When I come to the scene, a lot of times it's to just be an ear. It's to listen to what they have to say, maybe provide some input or some insight, some experience, maybe a little bit of wisdom. I've been here a long time. And you know, if it's something that they need my assistance on, because I'm there to be a team player. So, you know, I'm not coming there to kind of overtake their scene. I'm there to make sure that they have everything they need, they have the resources they need. You are the person that if a critical incident happens or if something bad happens, they come to you, they look to you for that guidance. And I'm there to pretty much make them feel comfortable and get them everything that they need. You learn something new every day. We have officers who are well versed in many different areas. You know, it's great to be able to utilize their talents and their skills and their experience to make me a better lieutenant. I'm going to get with Officer Darren Graham, who works Alpha Zone, and I'll get with Officer Michael Kay, who works Romeo Zone, and remind them, which I'm sure I don't have to, but just make sure that they go to those meetings, because they happen, typically they happen once a month, so we try to make sure that the officers get there. Unless something happens where they're on a call and they're not able to go, they pretty much know that they need to attend those meetings. So. Let's see, he said about 10, right? I was going out to deliver the backpacks that were going to be delivered to some of the children up in the Pine Ridge neighborhood today. And as we were headed out there, I noticed that Officer Graham was still on a call that he had been dispatched to, actually right out of our shift briefing, and he was still there. I come to make a delivery to you.
I don't even know I'm being able to make it.
I know.
Pretty much, Zach just called in saying that they saw them wandering around on the property, hiding behind the bushes. I made contact with them. They're saying that they're cutting the berries off the palm trees, which doesn't belong to them. They explained that to them. So as they're getting ready to leave, they never mentioned guy number 3 that comes walking out behind there. And get sent to search the truck, find weed in the truck. He admits to it.
Some individuals were, they had spoken to them, found out that one had a bad license, one had a license that didn't belong to him, and they were advising that the plants that they were digging up was used to cure prostate cancer, and they had a truckload of these plants that they had cut off of palm trees. So what we did was we gave him the backpack so that once he gets done with this call, he can go out and give those backpacks to those young kids that were looking forward to getting those backpacks for school. All right, then.
Catching burglars.
Catching burglars.
Giving to the city.
Giving to the city, loving the kids, all of that. This area is Grace Marketplace in Dignity Village, and it's where a lot of our homeless individuals come out and they set up their tents, and this is their pretty much their living quarters out here. And this is the area of town where each lieutenant has a sector that they're responsible for, and this just so happens to be an area that's near and dear to me because it's one of the areas that I'm responsible for. Because our chief is so involved in making sure that we put community first, that's what sets us apart from a lot of communities who have a lot of unrest, because our chief emphasizes that, our command staff emphasizes that, and that trickles down to our officers who are very well connected with the community. They go out, they build rapport with a lot of the homeless, they build rapport with a lot of the kids, and to be able to see that evolve and see our department continuously evolving into a city in which people want to live, that's a great thing. Hey, Daddy. How are you? Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Yeah. Hi, Mom. This is where I grew up. This is, we moved over here when I was about approximately 3 years old. We moved from the Porter's neighborhood, and we've been here ever since. My parents still live here. They're still an integral part of the neighborhood. Everybody knows my dad, of course. You know, he makes sure that whenever anything's happening or going on, he gives me a call. But the neighborhood has certainly come a long ways. I mean, this area used to be riddled with drugs and crime, and with the help of the neighborhood watches and all of the people like my dad who are highly dedicated in making sure that we keep a safe and productive neighborhood, they've done a great job over here. And they're still here, so that goes to show that a lot of the people who are vested in the community, they're still here because they care. I tell you, having grown up over here and having seen a lot of things and been exposed to a lot of both positive and negative, it's taught me compassion. It's taught me everything that the chief instills in all of the officers. That's what it's all about. It's about making sure that the community is safe and that we build a great rapport with them so that anything that they may need, they can always come to us. And you always have to have, you know, basically an open arms and an open door to them so that they can feel comfortable coming in and telling you and asking you questions and helping you to make sure that their community free of drugs and crime, and being able to see to the evolution of this particular neighborhood has been great, because like I said, it was really bad at one point. But when you have the officers working with the community and you know, you have that reciprocity, that's awesome. I love Gainesville. I wouldn't, you know, that's why I've been here all my life. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So I love Gainesville. This is my community and I'm here.
Lieutenant Owens is a great asset to the Gainesville Police Department. She understands the community because she grew up here. Her supportive leadership style enables other officers to do their job effectively so they can serve and protect this great community with pride.
Well, that's it for this episode. UF football is literally right around the corner, so we hope everyone makes responsible choices as you cheer on those Gators.
Please make sure you have a designated driver or another safe way of getting home after you celebrate our hopefully winning season. Make sure to check our website, Facebook, or Twitter to find more information on our department or to make suggestions on what you'd like to see aired on future episodes.
We hope you enjoyed your time with us today, and we'll see you again next month for another episode of Police Beat.
That wasn't right.
Huh?
I thought we hit that square on.
Absolutely.
Oh. That is awesome.
I cannot thank you enough for being my right arm through this show for the past few years. I really, really have enjoyed this.
That is great. Thank you very much.
No worries.
I'm going to miss this. You have no idea how much I'm going to miss it.
Burglaries and robberies have become serious concerns in our city. This crime is referred to as a crime of opportunity because most criminals look for the path of least resistance. Protect yourself, don't become a target, lock your doors, and keep expensive items out of plain view.
For crime prevention information, go to GainesvillePD.org or call the Gainesville Police Department's Crime Prevention Office at 334-2479. Protect yourself, don't become a target.
It's not easy being a tree. There's the constant hugging, and there are other nuisances.
No, doggy, no!
But the best part about being a tree is helping people recycle at work. And it's not just paper, it's cardboard too.
Hey, now that's thinking outside of the box. Thank you, I'll be here all week.
Last year, Gainesville businesses recycled approximately 5,000 tons of cardboard, but we can do more.
Recycle at work and make a tree happy. Call the City of Gainesville Office of Recycling.